Hi guys. Am I audible? Can someone confirm?
Yes, it's audible. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Arvind. Actually, I was on mute. I mean, I was not on mute. Some audio issue was there, so it was restricting my audio. Sorry about that. Sorry about you guys waiting. So yeah, so my name is Siddharth. Welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening, based on your locations. So, um, so just to give an introduction about the introduction about myself, right? So my name is Siddharth Menon. So I have been working in the field of data engineering and analytics close to 10 years. I will say 10 plus years. Okay. And I have worked with multiple business clients in the field of fast food chain, fuel and energy sector, healthcare, pharmacy, insurance, etc. So in the course of this journey, I have got an opportunity to work with multiple data analytics and visualization tools and workflows. Okay, so I started with SAP, the SAP ecosystem, where we got to work with a lot of, let's say, BO related, the reporting tools and dashboarding tools like SAP Analytics Cloud and other things. Okay, that's how I started my journey. Then I got to work with the Microsoft ecosystem, which is my favorite among them, right? So because of multiple reasons and multiple, uh, it's very what say easy to use Power BI. Okay, I'll let you know why. What are the reasons, and we'll understand that in the course. Okay. Then also in the course, I had a course of time I had got to work with a lot of Azure related tools in Power BI ecosystem, right? The Microsoft ecosystem offers a lot to the people who work with data engineering in, let's say, cloud, right? So that cloud related systems I was able to master and lead some teams and everything, right? So that's about me. So just to give an intro about Power BI itself, right? So just to understand the audience here, I wanted to understand whom I am seeing in front of me, right? So to understand, how many of you guys have heard about Power BI? Let's say maybe got to work with some dashboard or something, or seen some dashboard at least or something. Can someone raise your hands, maybe at least, just to get a head count of, just to understand the audience a little bit. So just to understand, how many people have seen a Power BI dashboard, or let's say got to work with a dashboard, or let's say seen Power BI desktop at least. Yeah, so I can see Rajkumar has raised his hand. I can see Aravind. Anyone else? Okay, okay. So that's okay. Rajkumar, like, do you want to speak up? Like what you have seen or anything?
Yeah, hey, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Rajkumar.
Yeah, I have been created some few dashboard in my previous company, but right now the company I'm working, they are not using Microsoft services. They are on Google Workspace. So in my previous company, I used to create a dashboard for the sales team, like to take the data in SharePoint, take the data from the various sources like the Google Ads and the Facebook and upload to the SharePoint, and then integrate the Power BI with the SharePoint to extract or to, I mean, get the data from SharePoint to Power BI via web, and then creating a dashboard by uh, using the modeling and the chart that is available in the Power BI.
Power BI visualizations. That's good. Okay, okay. Nice, nice to understand. Raj, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aravind, anything you want to add?
Actually, I don't have any experience. I'm just started learning Power BI. I've done hands-on 2 projects on that.
Okay.
I wish to learn more depth into Power BI. So
Okay, okay, okay. Thanks, Aravind. That's good. So I'll say both of you are spot on. So the person who is actually fairly new, okay, who doesn't have any idea about Power BI and what it does, right? Or the person who knows a little bit about Power BI, who has worked with Power BI. This course is actually good for both of them. Okay, different ways, but it has to offer both of you. Okay, so just to give an introduction about Power BI, so I'll just share my screen again. Previously I shared, but I think my audio was the problem, right? I hope. Let me know if my screen is visible. Is it visible now?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. So coming to Power BI, okay, so just to understand what Power BI is, actually the Power BI is better explained by Microsoft itself, right? So just to understand why Power BI is so important, and why it's, what to say, a leading provider in the market, right? So just to understand, actually, you might have seen this chart actually in many places, right? Actually, if you have been in data analytics, you might have seen this chart. It was actually statistics conducted by Gartner, okay, in January 2023, about how the leading dashboarding providers or visualization providers, right, how they are in the current market, how their let's say tools are performing in the market, right? So that let's say they divided this into 4 quadrants, and you can see we have Google, we have SAP, ThoughtSpot, then you have Click, Salesforce is there, and many other things are there. And you can see Microsoft actually stays out of everything. So it's like also a challenge. They are, let's say, good with ability to execute and the completeness of vision. So that sweet spot they have achieved, right? So that's why I actually mentioned the importance of Power BI, right? So it's easy to work with. That's one important point. So what Microsoft says is that so let's say why Power BI. It says, so one important point I want to show you is that it is actually very easy to integrate Power BI dashboards into your day-to-day, let's say, Word, Excel, or even PowerPoint presentations, right? That is one important point, that let's say we won't generally use the dashboards directly in Power BI, right? So we create a dashboard and present it to people, right? So that is very important. So such presentation wise, right, the ease of presentation, right, that is very easy with Power BI, right? That is one important thing. Then as the market suggests, there are many AI visualizations, other thing that have come up, right, in Power BI. So we'll be seeing many of these as well, right? So this was just to understand what Power BI is and how Power BI is going to be useful. So Power BI, in simple words, is a tool to develop meaningful dashboards. So dashboards in the sense meaningful visual, let's say, information tracker, I'll say, okay, to track how the business is working. It may be actually it can be in any field of analytics, okay. Data analytics is actually widespread with, let's say, something like strategic BI or tactical BI, it can be, or even operational BI, right? There are also some options where you have self-service BI, right? So any of these business intelligence to let's say regimes that you take, Power BI shines really well. Okay, so just to just to understand a little bit more about Power BI dashboard. So this is the dashboard. This is the dashboard that I have created before, just to make you let's say work and understand with a little bit about what Power BI is capable of doing, right? So this is actually a data actually provided by Microsoft. It's a sample data that's provided by Microsoft. It's called AdventureWorks. It's really a common database, that data source that is provided by Microsoft, and you can work with it. It's available online. You can just download it, and that data source is available, right? So with that, I have created this dashboard. It's really simple. It's not very, let's say, there are multiple things that are available in this dashboard. So this is what we will be building at the end, right? So just to understand things here, so we have some, let's say, interactive elements are there, right? There are some bar charts, there are some tables, there are some line charts, some KPI indicators are there, right? Such things will be there, right? And there are some geographical data also. So if you see, there are some map visuals that represent data based on locations, right? How the locations are performing, or any other statistics that you want. You can represent it on geographical data over here. So that how we can achieve those, let's say, numbers or values that we require to show them on this visualizations, right? That we will see how. Okay, and we have some multiple things, some interactive elements, like for example, there are some sliders that dynamically adjust the x-axis and other things, right? Then we have some price adjustment. Let's say, for example, if you want to see, there are some changes, right? So if you want, there are multiple things that you can do. So sorry, voice is okay. So some interactive elements you can see how to build and how to work with, right? Then there are some customer, let's say, any multiple dashboards you can create. That is also an option you can do, right? And you can actually interactively change the plots and other things and other, right? Build some navigational elements. So if you want to go to different charts, you can just click on these buttons, right? It will take you to different charts. So that will not be, you will not be able to work that over here. It will be working, it will be seen in effect in Power BI service or any other, let's say, PowerPoint presentation that you're going to show, right? So such things we'll be able to see how to do that, right? So if I click on customer, if I click on product, it goes to product. We click on geographical data, it goes to geographical. That kind of things we can do, right? So such things we can see. Then there are multiple things that this is just a let's say overall outlook I'm giving what we are going to build and how we are going to do it, right? So coming on to the course structure, right? So what we'll be learning, let's see that now. So this is the course structure. Actually, I'll be sharing this with everyone, so no problem with who are going to join the session, right? So this is the course outline that we are going to look into. Okay. So generally we'll start with, as usual, understanding Power BI, and a little bit we understood why Power BI, right? Yeah. And we'll go start with Power BI installation, configuration, some basic settings that we need to check before we start working, so that things are in, let's say, sync, right? What I do and what you do, we do some configurations for that. Then what is the interface and what are the options that we have in Power BI dashboard, right? All of those things we'll be looking into how to let's say, what are the options that are available to, let's say, get data, or join data, or create some measures or calculations or anything, right? We'll see all of those details in to understand what are those dashboards and other things, right? What is the Power BI desktop look like, right? We'll see that. Then we have the workflow. So we'll understand the workflow that we're going to deal with, starting from data to the visualizations, how it works, right? From I have some raw data. So I have generally in this course we'll be dealing with data from multiple sources. We'll be having data from flat files like CSV, Excel. We also have some data where we import it from SQL Server databases, right? On premise we have, right? And then we also have some use cases where we are going to connect to Azure Synapse Cloud, right? Then we'll get data from that, right? We'll be doing such multiple data transformations, get data from multiple sources, right? So that will be understanding from that data source to transformations that are happening to the data, then understanding how to model those data, get connections, make connections and other things, and showing those as meaningful visualizations, right? So this whole workflow will be learning how to chart it, right? We'll be understanding that, right? Coming to the next module, we'll be learning a little bit about the data refining, right? So we'll be understanding how the data import happens, what are the different type of connectors, right? We have multiple types of connectors. So one of the important, let's say, interesting things I like about Power BI is that Power BI has so many connectors that you name it and you will find it. So Power BI has so many connectors, and you will be relieved to know that you'll be able to connect from any sources, most of the sources that are available, that is necessary to be connected, right? So such kind of connectors and other things we'll be understanding, and most of the common connectors we'll be using, right? That we'll be seeing in this section. Then we have the storage modes where the data is stored. We'll be understanding, right? There are different places that you can store the data. Let's say, which is being used in the visualization. It can come from the source, or it can be inside the Power BI file, or it can be in multiple places, right? So we'll be understanding that. Then introduction to Power Query Editor is there. So the Power Query Editor, I think if you might have worked in Excel, there is actually Power Query Editor in Excel as well. So has anyone worked with Power Query before? Just to get an idea. No? Okay. So we'll be understanding Power Query Editor in detail. So how Power Query is the backend of Power BI. So it's important to understand how the data is fetched from different data sources, and some basic understanding of the data we get in Power Query Editor. Okay, we do some data profiling as well, right? Data profiling is actually an important, let's say, segment of Power Query that gives you insights about the statistical insights about the data that you are seeing, that you have imported just. Okay, so that we'll be seeing what are the different data profiling tools. Then you have a lot of, let's say, text and numerical transformations that we'll be doing in Power Query Editor. Index and conditional columns are there, pivoting, unpivoting. All of these things are some additional, let's say, features, or let's say tasks that will be working with Power Query. Okay, we'll be seeing how that works and everything. That will be covering in this section. Then we'll understand a little bit about modeling. So once this data is pushed into the front end of Power BI, so let's say we have all the tables, some basic transformations we have done, some text related transformations, some headers have been pushed and everything is done. We'll be going to work with data modeling, where we'll be seeing what is a data model, right? How model creates a difference in visualization, right? We'll be understanding that some data, some normalization, fact, primary key, foreign key related topics we'll be dealing, how to relate the tables that we have, right? Then some schema related topics we'll be covering, right? Cardinality, multiple fact tables to fact tables, how to connect, all those things we'll be seeing. So there are different types of, we'll be dealing in detail about this. So I'll not spend much time about everything, right? So just to give an idea, so modeling we'll be seeing in detail. Okay. Next, that is a very important. Next comes the very important part of a, let's say, dashboard building course, I'll say. So we'll be learning about how to make the meaningful, let's say, numbers, or let's say meaningful numbers that we require in Power BI. So in visualizations, when I use some values, or say some readings that I need, some KPIs, or some numbers that I want, right? How do I make them? I cannot get many things directly from the tables that I have, right? So I need to make some transformations, some calculations, some formula-based calculations, and other things. Those calculations will be dealt with DAX. So data analysis expressions is what is the key to make that happen. So we have calculated columns and calculated measures. So we'll be seeing that in extreme detail. We'll be understanding DAX very well. So we'll be understanding calculated columns and measures. Then the effect of filter context on measures. We'll understand what filter context is, okay? How filter context affects measures and other things, and how it is not affecting the calculated columns, right? So we'll understand some things, what is the difference between columns and measures, and how both are actually created using DAX formulas, right? So we'll be understanding that in detail. Then DAX syntax, operators, functions, math, statistic functions, counting, aggregating functions. You have sum, average, count, distinct count. Then you have logical functions, if, switch, etc. Right? Then text functions are there, length, search, date and time functions are there. Many date and time functions are there, right? Then there are related, calculate. These are actually very important functions. So we'll be seeing that in detail. Then iterator functions are there, very important again. So we'll be seeing that in detail. Then there are some time. Yeah, sorry. Did I hear some question? I'm not able to hear properly. Sanskriti, actually your voice is not clear. Okay, it's not a question. I think maybe. Okay, no problem. So yeah, we'll be seeing some time intelligence functions. These are very important. Nowadays, actually, something like year to date, month to date calculations and other things. Such things will come under time intelligence. So we'll be seeing that in detail as well. Okay. Then coming to the important part, right? We have now everything that we need to create the visualization. We have got the data. We have profiled the data. Then we have modeled the data and created some formulas or measures or that you require to see the data, right? Now the part comes where you just show the data, right? So that showing is what we saw now, just the dashboarding part, right? So all of these, whatever we discuss now, is in the backend. So if I show you just to give an idea, so my query editor comes here, right, in the home tab. So if I go to transform, so this is the Power Query editor. It is actually a separate let's say a dashboard that you can use to create, import and get the data. So it's called query editor. You can call it. Power Query actually is a query editor. You get all of these data from different data sources, and you can see different data that is coming. You can connect to different sources. So here we have some sources from SQL Server, right? And we have some connectors that we can use to, there are some parameter related connections that we can use, right? Product. So in this case, there are multiple data. So territory lookup, product, we have customer data, then sales that have happened, right? Then measures, everything, right? So all of these things are here in Power Query Editor. So this is the backend. So the data here, you see, you can see multiple things like whether it's valid, the data is valid or not. There are some errors, there are some empty cells or anything, such things we can see here, right? So such kind of validations and things, how we can do. There are multiple other kind of validation also. We'll see that in detail, right? So that comes under the profiling part, right? That's what we saw in the first segment. So after the Power Query Editor is done, we will push that to the front end. So in this case, that's the modeler. So we'll create such models over here. You can see, I hope, right, the model. Can you see this, everyone? Can someone confirm? Yeah, Rajkumar has raised the hand.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yes. So, okay. Please let me know if my audio or video or anything goes away, okay, in between, if there are some issues. Okay. So this is the model that we have. For example, whatever tables that we saw in Power Query Editor are there here, right? The product table, the sale related data, customer, territory, all of these things are there, right? And there are some additional tables also that we'll be creating. So most of these things, right? These additional tables that you see, these tables are actually created by us to, let's say, for some particular DAX related calculations that we did, right? Most of these things. So we'll see how to create those things and other things, okay? Those things are also there. So these connected ones are the ones that are there always. This is the actual data that we have imported. Okay, so how to create these connections, how these connections are important, how to, let's say, see their cardinality, how the cross filter direction affects, all of these things we'll see, and how to create some connections of primary, secondary key, and all those things. How to define a key, right, in a table. All of these things we'll see here in the modeler, right? And coming next, we have the table view. We can see the actual data after modeling, right? We can see all of the tables that are available. We can see that data that is available in the tables and other things, the number of rows and other things, right? And we can add some new measure, new column and other things. So this is where you create the DAX, let's say, formulas and other things, okay? So coming to the DAX part, so we'll be, after the modeling is done, we'll actually create multiple DAX formulas, okay? So in this case, actually the measure table has been created for that purpose itself, right? So all of these things that you see, right, this calculator kind of symbol are for the calculated measures that you need. So for example, we have orders. So we have some calculations like this. So there are some other functions, all divide, average, calculate, filter, all of these things we'll be seeing in very much detail. Okay, how these formulas are, what are these formulas, and what are the syntaxes and everything we'll be seeing in detail. Okay, so that's about the DAX part. And the end, we'll start building the dashboard. So we'll chart how to, let's say, who is the person who is visualizing the data, and based on that, we'll make the visualization appear. Okay, depending on the use case, we'll change the let's say layout. Right, there are multiple layouts. Right. So that's the outline of what we have done. So the data visualization part, we'll be covering some planning, what the end users needs are based on what we'll be building the dashboard, right? So then there is the report view, the basic visual charts and cards. Then we have a line chart, donut chart, table, matrix, top and cards, map visual, slicer, drill up, drill down function, drill through filters are also there. This is very important, actually very interesting how to achieve that. So for example, if I want to see a particular, let's say in this table, I have some products, right? So if I want to see the particular, let's say mountain tire tubes related data. So if I right click on it and I go through drill through and product detail, and I can see the mountain tire tube related data over here, all the metrics that I need, right? All of these things we can see. So such things we can do using drill through filters. So how to achieve that? We'll see all those things. Then report level interactions, how to control the visuals among themselves, right? How the visuals are connected, how those connections are made, how some connections are cut, right? Some visuals need to be independent, right? Such things we'll be seeing here. Then creating bookmarks is really important. So we'll understand how to create bookmarks, and such things we'll be understanding in this bookmark session. So bookmarks we'll understand in detail. If I start bookmarks, it will take some time. So I'm not starting it now. So then we have some parameters, how to use numeric range and fields parameter to change the visuals that you're seeing. So in this case, we have seen this chart, right? So this kind of parameters we'll be using to adjust the different charts that you have and other things, right? So we'll be seeing that in detail, other things, right? So coming to the next part, we'll be also seeing a little bit about, once all of this is done, basically the building the dashboard and other things, right? We'll also see some let's say trivial things, like let's say custom tooltips, right? So for example, if tooltips are nothing, you can see this kind of, let's say, things appear, right? So can you see this? This is a tooltip, right? So how to build custom tooltips? So like, I'll show you one example. So this kind of custom tooltips you can build with multiple, let's say, things that you can use. I'll show you how to create such tooltips. Okay. So that is one non-trivial thing. There are some app source visuals that you can use. So understand that a little bit. Then very important part, understanding the roles, how to set roles for the people who are going to use your dashboard, right? So those roles we'll be seeing, we'll be enabling those roles. We'll be setting those roles in Power BI Desktop. Actually, roles we cannot use that in Power BI directly, in desktop directly, but in Power BI service where it's on the cloud, right? You'll be able to use these roles based on the person who is seeing. You can control control what he sees, right? The row-based security you can set. Okay, so such things we can do using manage roles. Then there are mobile layouts. Mobile layouts can be done. Actually, mobile layouts we'll not be doing in detail, but it's really simple. So once you start understanding, right, it's really easy. So you can start building that mobile visuals. Then a little bit about Power BI service and how it uses the dashboard that we have built and how it's shared and other things we'll be understanding, right? So just to give you an understanding of the service dashboard, this is the Power BI service dashboard. So just to understand it clearly, Power BI Desktop is a free version. It's a free tool that is available for any desktop user, right? You can download it from the official Microsoft website and you can use it. Okay, there is no restriction. But Power BI service is a service provided by Microsoft, right? It's actually a paid service. So you need to have a paid license for that. And all the dashboards that you are creating, right, in the desktop, if you want to share it to the world, maybe it may be in the form of a PPT, or it may be in the form of a website, or anywhere you want to show some interactive charts and other things, right? You need a Power BI service license. Okay, so that is actually not covered in this course. So we'll be learning all the parts that we can do in this course. So any hands-on, anything that is shown in this course will be achievable by you. So you can do it. Okay, the hands-on can be done by you. So that is how the course has been structured. Okay, so but just to give an idea, I have also added a few things. Okay, just to, and like, you should not be blind about, ignorant about what is available beyond the scope of, let's say, unpaid service, right? So for that, I have included a few things such as Microsoft Power BI service to understand how the dashboards that we have built will be, let's say, seen. Okay, so this is the same dashboard that we have built over there. So such interactive elements and other things will be working over here. So which were not working over there, such things we can achieve here, right? The chart related changes, such things, right? These are the parameters that we were discussing. And other thing, we'll be seeing this in a little bit of understandable way. We will not be seeing in detail. We'll be understanding this in a little bit. Okay. So that's about Power BI service. And using Power BI service, actually, we can create this such kind of presentations, right? So this is what we have built this dashboard for, to show it in full screen to people who are the stakeholders who are involved, right, in this business. So such things we can do in the when you have the Power BI service license. So generally enterprise level you have the license, right? So that also I wanted to cover in this section. Okay. So that's the, let's say, non-trivial, let's say trivial parts of the course. Then we have some AI visualizations also that we'll be seeing, right? We'll be understanding AI features that are, it has been there actually in for quite some time now, right, in Power BI, but still now since the AI revolution has come, right? So Power BI has actually deeply put its time in AI features. So you can we'll be seeing these AI features. We have that's called anomaly detection, smart narratives, Q&A visuals, decomposition trees, key influencers. So I'll just show you some of them just to understand. So we have, this is one of the decomposition trees. So just to identify any, let's say, from where some problems are arising, such things to analyze, to do a root cause analysis and other things, right? So you can use a decomposition tree. It's really famous for that. Okay. So this is actually one of the AI visualizations from Power BI. Then you have key influencers are there. So this actually runs a very good analysis of customer segments that you have, right? What are the segments that you want based on some particular value, particular fields in the tables, right? Based on, let's say, some some attributes of that, let's say, field, we can actually create some segments, or how they are let's say, ahead of something, right? You can create separate market segments using this key influencer visuals, some top segments and other things, right? So such things we can do using AI visuals. So we'll be seeing these things in detail, how to create, what are the measures required to create these things, and other things we'll be seeing in detail. Okay. Then you have the optimize ribbon, and actually that's really important nowadays to understand how to optimize a report, right? Because generally Power BI, not only Power BI, the different dashboarding tools, one of the major challenges is we have created a very good dashboard, but opening that dashboard takes a huge time, right? So such things happen nowadays very well, right? Very commonly. So for this, actually, Power BI gives us some tools that we can use to, let's say, optimize the opening of a report, or any interactivity, or any other features that are available in Power BI, right? So for that, we have the optimize ribbon. We have pause, some refresh visuals, optimization presets are available, apply all slicer is available, then performance analyzer tool is available. So we'll be understanding how each visual, or each DAX formula, or let's say each data import that is happening, how much time it takes to load in front of your eyes, right? So such kind of things you can do using performance analyzer. So we'll be seeing that also in an understandable detailed way, right? So that is about the Power BI part of this course. So you'll be understanding end to end from the Power BI data in, let's say, data import to the last of visualization. So that is about the data visualization. Just to include a few, let's say, other important things that we have in market, right? So next we'll be dealing about some Azure activity that we are going to do. That's actually a really important part of this course, right? So we'll be understanding a particular use case where actually nowadays it's really common that you see an on-premise system, right? On-premise data system that needs to be moved to a cloud source, right? So it's really common nowadays. You can name, let's say, hundreds of let's say projects or thousands of projects that are happening that way, right? So in such a scenario, we have in this case, I have recreated or let's say simulated a plan where we have an on-premise SQL server, right, in our laptop. So it'll be, I have a, let's say, just to show you, I have installed SQL server on my system. So on my system, I'll be, let's say, importing many databases that we'll be having over here, right? Multiple tables are there in the database and other things. This is an SQL server database that I want to push it to cloud, right? So all the processes that are involved in reporting that data from cloud we'll be doing end to end. Just to show the flow, this is the flow that we are going to see. So we have the MS SQL Server database, right? So all of these tools are the aspects that we will be using for, let's say, the ingestion, then transformation and reporting. So ETL process and then reporting. We'll be seeing all of these tools that are involved in this slide, right? So we'll have the MS SQL Server database, right? We'll be importing that SQL Server database into a data lake storage. So Azure Data Lake is the storage leading storage engine that we require for, let's say, Azure cloud, right? So that ingestion we'll be doing using Azure Data Factory, right? You'll be able to understand how Data Factory plays an important role of, let's say, ingesting the data, which cannot be directly ingested to cloud. Just uploading a data to cloud will not work. We need to do some basic, let's say, the Power Query level transformations that we saw in Power BI, right? That level of transformation, a little bit, needs to be done in before you import it to a data lake. So such important ingestion processes will be done in Data Factory. We'll be creating some very important pipelines, right, from end to end, starting to just, let's say, the ingestion to the reporting part we'll be creating, right? So we'll be doing that using Data Factory. Okay. Then in Data Lake itself, we'll be using Databricks to transform the data into any undesirable things can be removed, or any additional desirable things can be added, or any transformations that we do in the that we require, right, can be done using the Databricks transformations that we're going to do. And those transformed, let's say, data will be, let's say, initially we'll be storing the data in bronze layer, right? That will be the lowest transformed data, a little bit, I'll say, raw data, right? That raw data will be converted into important, let's say, gold layer data by using some transformations in Azure Databricks. Okay, we'll be seeing how Databricks works. We'll use some compute. You'll be using some basic Python scripts that we have, right? And all of these things will lead to a good data that we can use and import it to Azure Synapse Analytics Cloud. Okay, Synapse Analytics Cloud is now very much, leading in the market, because even in Fabric you can see multiple. Even you can see Data Factory pipelines and other things. Actually, the Azure Synapse Analytics Cloud is like a combination of Data Factory and Databricks. So it has actually capabilities of doing a lot. It has a storage engine. It has a compute engine and other things. Okay, it's really useful that way. Okay, so you'll be importing the data into the Azure Synapse Cloud from Gold layer using some transformations done in the pipeline. So that pipeline is still in the data factory. Okay, so we'll be creating that pipelines, right? And from the Synapse, we'll be connecting it to Power BI, and we'll be creating some dashboards using that. So how that connection happen and other things we'll be seeing. Okay. So for all of this, this Azure Key Vault is also there just to store the credentials and other things. So all of these things we'll be seeing in detail. But just to give an idea, we'll not be seeing any of these, let's say data factory or data bricks or data lake or synapse in detail. I'll not be covering, because if I start a session on data factory or data bricks, it will take another whole session. It will take another whole course to do that, right? So anything that is related to this import, right, that will be covering in this course. And believe me, if you understand that, you will be able to understand a lot of things that are happening in data factory, Databricks, and Synapse. Okay, so we'll be seeing that end-to-end pipeline. So I'll show you that pipeline also. So this is the pipeline that we are going to run, right? So we'll be making some lookup activity of the tables that are there in SQL Server. Then we have some data copying from the SQL Server to data lake. Then you do some transformation, some silver transformation, then gold transformation, and load the data into Synapse. So we'll be creating this pipeline end to end from start to end. We'll create this and run this pipeline to fetch the data. Okay. So this is what we will be covering in this Azure related activity. So this is the so we'll be connecting an on-premise SQL Server. So Azure Data Factory will be seeing, Azure Cloud Data Transformation will be seeing using Data Lake and Databricks, right? Data load happens in Azure Synapse Analytics, so we'll be seeing how to load that data, right? Then connecting Azure Synapse to Power BI and report creation and all of these things. And at the end, we'll be testing this pipeline end to end so that any data refresh or change that happens in the SQL Server, it will be reflected in the report directly, right? So we'll see how that end-to-end pipeline is done. So all of this will happen in the Azure Synapse data reporting part. Okay. So this is the course structure, right? All of these things are what we are going to see in this course. So it's going to be a very, let's say, interesting and adventurous journey. So I hope you guys got an outline of what we are going to deal with, right? So just before I go ahead, any questions or anything regarding the course or regarding the topics that are covered or anything, you can pose it now. Maybe I'll spend some time for Q&A.
So I want to just ask, like, are we creating this dashboard from scratch, or will you run through the that is already
So
like you have it?
Actually, how I do the process is generally if we build from scratch without understanding the dashboard, right? What I feel is you won't get that feel of what you are building. So what I generally do is the dashboard that I have built, right, that I will be building from scratch.
Okay.
Right? So now I have a fully finished product at your hand, and you want to build each of those bricks one by one, keep each of those bricks, apply the cement and build everything from scratch. That is a different experience. So that's what I feel will help in this course. So we'll be to answer your question, we'll be building from scratch everything. We'll be starting from a fresh page, fresh Power BI, let's say PBIX file, and we'll be building the dashboard.
Okay, so can you like explain more, and how long will you take? How many days will you need to this cover?
Okay, course related you mean. Okay, so generally our course, I generally take the course for in weekdays, generally Monday to Friday. Okay, every day around 9 to 10. So 1 hour is the time I spend, because 9 I feel is a good grace period after having dinner. Everyone is like a little bit okay to spend some time to learn, right? After no work, most of the people don't have work at 9 p.m. So generally 9 to 10 is the time I prefer, right? So that is the time I have kept for this course. Every day, Monday to Friday, 9 to 10 p.m. Have the course, and generally this course will take 30 to 40 hours depending on the time that we spend, right? It will take at least 30 hours. 35 hours is the median. Generally it takes 35 hours, I'll say, on an average, and 40 hours it will go up to at the end, to, let's say, finish everything, to make you understand all of the concepts and other things. I hope that answers the course related questions, right?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Okay, Raj. Any other questions related to the topics that we are going to cover? Because Power BI nowadays is like, let's say, a very important, let's say, tool. It has become very important nowadays in the field of data analytics, because it can be learned, and anyone can, I'll say, anyone can learn it, but applying it takes skill. Okay, because this tool is available for anyone, right? You can anyone in the world who has a laptop or a desktop can install Power BI desktop and work with it, right? But to master that dashboarding, that is a different thing. So that is where Power BI shines. Anyone can access it, but you need a particular set of skills to achieve that dashboard or the visualizations that you need, right? So that is what I'm focusing on this course. And especially nowadays, data, if you keep it, let's say, private, let's say on-premise, or flat files, or even SharePoint nowadays, right? It's a little bit common, as Raj mentioned, right? It's not enough nowadays, because data now is nowhere. Let's say the percentage of data that we see online, right, is very high. You will not see a lot of on-premise data that happens nowadays, because cloud has actually taken over that place, right? So to understand that cloud infrastructure really well, especially with the Power BI tool that we are covering, the Azure infrastructure, Azure tools that we are going to see are going to be very critical, mission critical. Okay, so that is why the Azure part of this course becomes really important, and that will be covering understanding in, let's say, I think interview level, you'll be very much interested to understand. Another person who is interviewing you will be very much interested to understand those topics that you have understood really well, right? So I'll say that way this course will be going to be helpful to you. So any other questions? Anything? Yeah, I think I have this recorded will be. Yes, I think this recording is going to be uploaded. I think it should be available in YouTube, I think, in some time, maybe in a day or two, maybe at the max. You'll be able to see the recording. Yeah, I think Jagadambika and Nura. Yeah. So any other questions, guys? Or I think I thought of starting the session a little bit, but today I think time is constrained. So maybe I can take one or two questions if you have.
So, will you cover something about API side, in the side of importing the data from the various sources? Like you talk about the Azure, right? So we need to upload a data in Azure, then you will take it to Power BI. So
Yeah.
on the other side, I was talking about the live data, like we need to schedule and get the imported data, like some e-commerce site, like suppose I have a Shopify and suppose I have a GA4. Like on the API side, will you talk about importing through API to directly to the Power BI?
Okay. So
You got my question, right?
yes, I got let's say most of the question, but let me answer it. let me understand. Maybe then you will be able to tell me whether I have understood your question properly. Okay.
Yeah.
So data sources, when you say in Power BI, can be, as I mentioned, from multiple places, right? In especially the case that you are mentioning, the data is going to be in any online databases, right? So any API related calls that happen will be for that data, that service that you need, right? So such kind of connections you can make in Power BI. I need not call that an API. It's just a link for that, right? Just let's say URL that I'm going to use, right? That URL is
Okay.
what you're going to use in data source as a data source. That's it. So once that URL has been connected, your Power Query editor will take care of everything else. Understand, no? So I need not
Yeah.
especially spend time on APIs. I can just show you how to import data from a URL. So that we'll be seeing in this, especially this Azure Synapse Solar case. So we'll be seeing how to connect that Azure Synapse Cloud, not API per se, but it will be really close to that. So you can able to you'll be able to correlate that.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay, okay, Raj. I think only Raj has question. Anyone else? Anyone else has question? Aravind, Anusha, Yavini, Sharmili, Radhika is also there. No other questions? Okay. Okay, then let's stop here. Let's see you on tomorrow's session. I think tomorrow's session also should be we'll be seeing a little starting of how to install Power BI, how to connect let's say basic configurations, such things we'll be seeing in Power BI. All those things we'll be seeing. Right. That's it. So let's meet tomorrow. Then thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Let's see you tomorrow. Happy Diwali, by the way, everyone, whoever is in India. Justice. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much, Sid.